All right. All right. I hope y'all can hear me. Welcome to the course on how to bridge the gap, logic versus emotion. I'm so glad that y'all are here. I'm so glad to be able to share this knowledge that I've gained over the years with you guys. My name is Coach Rom. If for those who don't know me, I am the one who had wrote the book on logic and emotion, how to bridge the gap. Subtitle this Mastering the Balance Between Logic and Emotion in Communication. And communication is very important to me. I started out school for electrical engineering way back last century, 95, and attended Hampton University for electrical engineering and realized that it just wasn't the thing. It wasn't the school that I was going to graduate from. It wasn't in my destiny. I ended up transferring, not because of the school itself, but because I had a family tragedy. I had been raised under a single father household, and my father ended up having a stroke. And, it didn't take him all the way out, but it did debilitate him for several years after that. So, I left school, went to back to my hometown from Virginia all the way down to Atlanta where we were living at the time, Stone Mountain. And, I had to provide a helping hand, had to be in the role of a provider for my family. So, there's a lot of knowledge that I've attained just knowing that, I had to become more than what I felt like I needed to be all at one moment. Sometimes in our lives, it could be, an illness, it can be a pregnancy, it could be marriage, it could be just a different living arrangements that may cause us to have to switch and change is inevitable. So a lot of the lessons along the way I have learned, and at this time of my life, all I can do is think about sharing it. And whether or not you agree or whether or not you vibe with me or not, the lesson is still out there. You can choose to take it, you can choose to pass it on, you can choose to give it away. These knowledge jewels that I like to drop on you. But today we're going to talk about something that's very important, especially in 2024. All 2023, my focus was started on men to, realize their potential. And I've had the, accolades of helping several men. One of the things that I know that, was near and dear to my heart was stopping somebody from killing themselves. Like that's deep. I don't know how many times I really have made an impact like that in my life to somebody, but to know for sure that, somebody turned the road is definitely, an accolade for me. Aside from that, just being able to influence somebody to quit smoking. I myself had to battle with addictions. A lot of people that I know, of course, still smoke weed and still drink, still have an addiction to sex, still have an addiction to cars or video games. It can be a lot of different things, but to be able to know that it's not going to be something that takes you through your day where you have to follow. As you can see right here, I advertise that there is a such thing as a leader. Whether or not I'm the leader that day or somebody else is the leader, somebody is going to lead. And if you are knowing that you are being led by certain things, whether or not it's your woman, your job, even your children, you're not in control, right? So, that's one of the lessons that I definitely have along the pipeline. As of right now, I just want to, do a little housekeeping. So right now, you're involved with a course on logic over emotion or emotional logic, logical emotion, however you want to say it. As you take this course, I say it's bridging the gap. So if we're talking about putting a bridge along the gap between logic and emotion, you have to determine how you see it. It can be logical emotion or emotional logic. Now, we'll get into the differences between the lexicon of what we're talking about today. But you have two different things, logic and emotion, and we're bridging that gap. Also, of course, there's other books that I do want to mention. We do have a controversial topic on provider. What is a provider? We hear a lot of that these days, talking about men are supposed to be providers, and guarantee we are. And not all of us men are providers, and in a right that the society deems us to be monetarily providing for family or woman or your children or such and so forth. Provider, one of the things I want to highlight is that a provider comes in many different shapes and sizes. You can provide more than just money, of course. Okay. You can provide resources. You can provide knowledge. It is what's valued to the person who receives it. Right. So we're going to get into that. Also, I got a book on closeness. And I think that it'll touch a lot of men to realize, what am I in this for? We all want to have that companionship, but is companionship the same thing as closeness? Not all the time, So, we're going to get into that topic. Plus, please pick up a copy of the Miscommunication Trap. This is something expounded and spun off from the Miscommunication Trap, which is the logic, emotion, bridging the gap. The Miscommunication Trap does detail a lot of the situations that men find themselves in and trying to have a conversation, trying to have a connection with the opposite sex, or it could be even somebody in your family who is of a certain type, whether they are deemed entitled or gold digging, or just somebody who just difficult to have a communication with, or a conversation with. So y'all pick a copy of that up, and most of my books are only $9, so it's not gonna break you. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and start and get into the first module. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce you into bridging the gap, logic and emotion. Thank you.